Alright, I'm adding Hydro Boost to an LS Swap 69 Nova. Instead of going the route of buying a kit that's around $1,000 plus, I figured I'd try to piece it together myself from info from the internet. So, this is from the junkyard. This is from a 1990s Astrovan, a 97 to be specific. This is around $70, $80. This adapter plate was off of eBay. This is around $50 or so. This allows you to mount the Hydro Boost to the firewall. That being said, you're gonna have to take the snap ring off, take the nut off, beat the nut off because it's really hard to get off to get the original adapter plate off from the Astrovan. Once that is done, this thing has a register that slots in with the Hydro Boost and slides on like this. Then you would put your nut on. And this allows you to mount it to the car. Two things, the Hydro Boost, you can mount it like this or like this. It doesn't matter. This plate forces you to mount it this way, which is a benefit because this thing is filled with compressed gas of some sort, and this will be closer towards the firewall, not close towards the headers. Another thing, this makes it so you mount this directly to the firewall. The car originally had power brakes, which was offset from the firewall at an angle. So going from the offset of the power brakes to directly to the firewall is basically, it's mounted like the manual brakes. So instead of this being mounted to the bottom hole of the brake pedal with the power brakes, now this is mounted to the top hole because it's straight as opposed to at an angle with the power brakes. So cut the rod in half. I did measuring and whatnot. Then you use a 3/8 by 24-inch die to thread the rod. This came from the original power brakes, and just screw it in. Ideally, I would like to put a jam nut behind it so it doesn't back off, but I can't because that will interfere with the stroke of the rod because it gets pretty close. I'll just use some high strength thread locker, that way it doesn't back out. Use all that and you're able to mount it to the original master cylinder. But since we're doing Hydro Boost and the master cylinder is old, we got a new master cylinder and with proportioning valve. I went with the 1-inch bore master cylinder because all the kits I've seen on the internet use a 1-inch bore master cylinder. So this was around 120 bucks. It comes with everything and this thing. Has a pointy end and a recessed end. Slide this in there. That's going to be your push rod, and this registers inside of here. And then you put them all together, and boom, you have Hydro Boost for your 69 Nova. Next thing you'll need is a hose kit. So the way the Hydro Boost works is it takes power from the power steering to make it hydraulically boosted. So you're going to have a feed that comes directly from the power steering pump to the Hydro Boost, and then there's another feed from the Hydro Boost to the steering box, and you'll have one return from your steering box and one return from the Hydro Boost. So you have one feed goes into power from the power steering to the Hydro Boost, and that feed is continued from the Hydro Boost steering box, and you have two returns. I priced around the hose kits, and they're around 200 bucks for a hose kit that has high pressure and return and whatnot. So in all total, you're around 440, 450 bucks as opposed to $1,000 and a little bit of work. So 97 Astrovan, 1-inch bore master cylinder with proportioning valve, $50 adapter plate off of eBay. You do some Googling, and then, oh, this is on there. The nut is serrated, so makes it hard to take off. The guy on eBay selling it has a whole bunch of different ones, but this is the one that's for the Nova. That's what it looks like. So if you're searching for it, this is what it is. And he has, like, in the description, it tells you what you need, this, that, and the other. I basically just went off of that, and it works. So that's all there is to it.